On today's episode of Roast My Kit, we're answering the important questions, like what's better, Rust 4 or American kit? Can affordable kit be good? And why do I have a pickle on my shirt? All of that in today's Roast My Kit. Big Deal has a kit that is admittedly a little bit of a mix of everything, but I think it works pretty well. So taking a look at what we have here, it is a Desert Tiger Stripe uniform, which is already drippy, but then he's got M81 over it, and that looks like... that's not a flick, is it? It's some sort of harness like that. Yeah, I think that's a flick. But I never thought that M81 and Tiger Stripe would go together. But I think this looks pretty cool. And also the fact that you found an M81 flick and the pouches to go with it, I think is pretty rad. You're definitely LARPing in Mom's basement here, and I do want to acknowledge that is a paracord sling. I feel like everybody had that phase at some point in their life. But I think this looks pretty cool, and he's got the boonie with it as well. Like, this is a combo that if you, on paper, I think would be not good. But the more I look at it, besides this, creepy photo, this is your sleep paralysis demon right here. But otherwise, I think this kit looks pretty good. I never would have thought it would have went together, but, I think it's pretty good. Next, we've got Operator Redcoat, who is not in a British kit, which I gotta say is disappointing. And then we take a look at it, and this kit gives off, I don't know what it is. It makes me think of, the character models from the new Modern Warfare 2. Before they started adding in, cartoon characters and Nicki Minaj and things like that. This is a modern kit, but it doesn't, at least to me, it doesn't draw inspiration from anything. But he's got, an AR. He's got dual tubes, who knows if they're real. But I think that this is just solid, and I like the gray jacket as well. It reminds me of the old school PCU kits that we saw in the early 2000s, but I got no complaints here except for the orange tip, but it looks like, because the pistol has one as well, he might live in one of those countries where that is a non-negotiable. But, I thought, pretty good. And then our next one we have here is... guys, I'm trying to get better at saying names. I can't read that. I'm sorry. I need glasses. 29 Commando JTAC Norway style kit. And what I like about this is, one, it's white overalls, coveralls, excuse me. We talked about this in a previous episode about how much I love winter kit. But what jumps out to me, that's an L86 with the grenade launcher heat shield. I don't think I've ever seen one in person before. I've seen an old school ICSL 86, sorry. But I'm looking at it, I don't think I've ever seen one with the heat shield and the grenade launcher out in the wild. This would be what? Because it's got the 320, this would be the L86A3. Somebody who's British, please correct me. But this is pretty cool. This kit has an M4 with it. It's your basic sort of CQBR sort of kit. Oh, and a saw as well, a little night vision photo. But I think this is super cool. The L86 is what I really like the most about it. I'm having trouble identifying the load-bearing equipment, but this is super cool, I gotta say. So now we're moving on to our next kit, which is Spartan Fox. And it looks like it is a Rust 4 inspired kit. He's got the old school partisan camo on there. He's got a black plate carrier that I can't quite identify, and then a VSS. He's also got... just to focus on the kit real quick. It's got a little friend in the background. That's cute. Got some jets in the back as well. This dude's got the coolest room in all of high school right here. And then other than that, there's a video, which I'm kind of afraid to watch, but I guess we're just going to experience this all together. Oh, okay, it's nothing bad. It's just a 360 view of it. Again, I think if you're going for I'm a Russian baddie, I think that this works. I wouldn't call it an impression, or maybe I just don't know better, but I don't think it's bad at all. And then our next kit that we have here is from Crude Bite, which bit more of an impression kit with this one, the Swedish Volunteer Corps and the Winter War. Not accurate though. And again, he did admit that this is an impression, and I guess this wouldn't really have any use in Airsoft, especially if this is modern stuff. I wouldn't want to ruin it playing BB Tag, but I appreciate the dedication that goes into this. This is something that I wouldn't do personally, but the people who have the dedication to doing old school kit, especially stuff that isn't I don't want to use the word relevant, but really old kit before they kind of figured out load-bearing equipment, I think this is super cool. Next, we have a name that is not in my language, so I'm not going to say it, and it's an old school Afghan kit. And again, you guys know I've been playing some Arma Reforger, so this is right up my alley. And I gotta say, I love this. You know, I'm getting better at identifying stuff, but you know, I think that this is just, you know, and this is a reference photo here. I just think that these kits are super cool. They still make sense for most Airsoft games. And again, I'm a big, you know, fan of Arma Reforger, so this is an easy 10 out of 10 for me. And we have another Russian kit, which, you know, I am a sucker for old school Gorkas, and this is, you know, again, kind of like your generic Russian baddie, old school FSB. Like, this is what a video game developer thinks the Russians look like, and, you know, I think that it does a pretty good job at it. Again, I appreciate that it's an AK that has nothing on it. I think more kits need more bare bones sort of rifles, but this is, I really like this, you know. I've never actually, ooh, what is going on with that? Dump pouch that, like, you gotta reach over and like grab under. That looks a little uncomfortable there on the Smersh, but like this is really well done. You should be proud of this kit for sure. And let's keep going. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't even talk about, he has stuff in the background of the photo. What is that? There's some sort of liquor back there, which I wanted to be able to identify, but I guess not for this one. And now we've got Tip Tapper with a Stalker kit, and I think we featured this one in the last one, but again, I wish that there was more games where you could use something like this. I will say in kind of the Stalker sense, an American baseball cap doesn't fit in with it. I don't even know if he's in this photo. I can't find him. But you know, I think this is cool. You know, Flectarn's kind of an underused camo, except for like the people that do modern day like KVB kit. But you know, I think this is cool. I just wish that there was more games where it made sense. And apparently this is the old school, you know, 80s kit, because we've got two in a row right here. So we got Alexander with, you know, another old school, you know, kind of Arma-y kit, you know, Afghan War. This is right up my alley, and in the winter it is, you know, I think this is especially well done with the underfolder as well, one of my favorite AK variants. I think this is super cool. And then we have Vincent, who is on the other side of the server with their old school 80s kit, kind of Just Cause sort of thing going on here, it looks like, with the cut up on the helmet as well. I wish that there was a good, like, up close photo. It's a little out of focus on this one, but I think this is definitely super cool, and I love seeing both sides of this. I wish that there was more Cold War Airsoft games. I know up here in the Northeast, there's something called Red Divide. However, I have not been able to find any information about it, and it is a kit that I still need to build. And then we've got another kit here from Marlboro Man, and this is like an old school 2005 Operation Red Wings. So he's got his photos, but then also the reference for it as well. And you know, the mix of M81 and Tricolor Desert is just a drip. I think he said that's a Paca vest as well. I think that this is like the drippiest era for me, even though arguably it's not great kit. Like the drop leg, I know is uncomfortable. The old school armor is just big and bulky, but that's what they needed back then. I love that back panel as well with the old school map and the radio. And then he does have a version that is in all Tricolor Desert here, but I think that this is incredibly well done, and this is just, you know, like, these were the cool kits when I started playing Airsoft. So to see people still keeping them up to this day, I think that is absolutely awesome. And then this is his reference photo here from actual Rangers. It looks like he's replicating this guy in the front, but I think that this is just incredibly well done, and it, you know, it has a soft spot in my heart for sure. And then we're just going to keep going down for a couple of more kits today. We have one from Rick, and let's just take a look at what we have here. I'm interested, who makes the, it's like a plaid shirt, but then it has Velcro on there. Who makes that? If you're watching, you know, please leave a comment down below. But, you know, this is, you know, I can't find anything to complain about with this. He's got a, you know, Mark 18 with all the things you'd expect on there. A T1, a D-ball, a Surefire. The pressure switch. Those look like they're in kind of an uncomfortable spot. I mean, maybe with your hand, but, like, those might be a little bit suited for the top of the gun. You can also move your laser up a little bit if the mount doesn't interfere with your Surefire. Taking a look at what else we have on there, we have an Aglite, sort of, I think that they make the plate carrier, but I can't quite tell, but yeah, I mean, this is a good, solid kit setup. Now we have the full carrier here, and yeah, I mean, he's got mags in the front, he's got a radio, he's got another, I think that's a pistol mag. I'm gonna have trouble seeing because it's got the open spring here. I think you're doing everything right. And then he's also got this here, which is a old school, like an XM177 with the carry handle scope that I think is cool as well. But yeah, I think this is pretty well done. URGI here. I think that these are a good kit and a good selection of guns to go with it. And then we're taking a look at Rick here. So we've got a before and a after. So his first kit when he started playing in 2025, which is, you know, I imagine if you're an Airsofter who lives in the UK, I imagine it's kind of like Airsofters who start out here in the US, where their first kit is like UCP or tricolors with like nothing really else, kind of scavenging stuff. And then you move on to the next level, which is a pretty cool looking gun. We've got a short dot there on there, and you know, kind of same setup as we just saw. I think that this looks, you know, really good. It's an HPA gun as well. Yeah, overall, I think this is, you know, well done. You know, the plaid isn't my thing, but I think it's interesting. There's a lot of people who are interested in it for sure, but you know, that, you know, the before and after on there, I think is really cool. And next up, we have Poor Dude Loadout from East. And I think this just goes to show that, like, you don't need to spend a lot of money to have a cool looking kit. I will say, in terms of Airsoft magazines, these like waffle ones here, oh my god, it just takes me back to like the original days of Airsoft, seeing these like contractor AKs and having the worst mid caps imaginable. But I mean, yeah, you really don't need to spend a lot of money. This all, it looks like what is this, like an old school DPM PLE PCLE, I forgot what they call them, some MTP pants. Like, you don't need to spend a lot of money to have a good Airsoft kit, and I think that this is an example of something that's affordable but also carries everything that you need. Today I do just want to take a quick moment to thank our channel members, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be able to make videos. Their monthly support allows me to be able to go out to airsoft fields, to take time off of work for events, to go meet people who are playing this hobby, and also, you know, to have the time to edit videos like this one. So a big thank you to our channel members for making the BB Warrior possible. That is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see even more Roast My Kit, you can click right up here, or if you want to watch another video that YouTube thinks you like, you can check out right up here. But my name is Lane, and I will see you all next time.